especially useful. So, as a clinical psychologist, we see a lot of women as compared to men. Hence why I'm saying it's nice to see you all here, including my fellow colleagues. So we wanted to talk about mental health. I'm sure you found some of our pamphlets that speaks to mental health, the kinds of mental health conditions that are there, particularly a lot of which men struggle with. Okay? One of the things growing up, you hear Mr. So-and-so has committed suicide, and growing up, a person could never do that. There's no way a man could just, without witchcraft, kill himself. And those are some of the things they know in mental health. When a person has depression, they battle with that. They battle with suicidal thoughts. When they have depression, they battle, especially for men. It presents differently. You find there's an increased irritability, aggressive behaviors, especially towards their partners, their children. All of those things are things that struggle with. And because of society, the expectations of society, because of that, when you're battling, you go through it alone, you don't tell anyone. Nobody knows where you're sitting with this monster, this heaviness, and oftentimes the only time you actually come into contact with mental health providers is because you went to the GP complaining of headache, complaining of tension headache, it's not going away, I keep having this headache, I have back pains, I have stomach problems, and then they try to treat you, but there's no solution because what you have is a mental health condition. And then that's how you end up in our offices. And other times we find you in the wards because you try to take your life, And when we try to explore, some of the issues are related to the fact that things are tough, under a lot of pressure, economy, things are expensive, life in general is just rough, So those are some of the things that struggle with. And then as a result, I think you saw my program, I'm supposed to talk about gender-based violence, suicide, and mental health in general. So some of the things that cause these issues in terms of why people are fighting on a regular, why men actually assert their dominance or their wives by beating them to their children, beating them, that type of violence. It's also because in general, oftentimes we're not even taught emotional regulation. We're not taught how to, release the pain emotionally that we feel. Whereas we're not even supposed to say, I'm not feeling well, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling irritable. And irritability or anger has physiological, you feel your body painful. Sometimes your body cannot contain all of that pain, So when you can't contain all of that pain, the next thing to do is to attack, to release, to find a way to discharge all of that energy. So those are very problematic ways of coping with our difficulties with emotional regulation. So it's very important for us as men, well, I'm not a man, but it's important for men to actually, learn and understand themselves better. Know when you're feeling what. Know when you're about to get angry. Know why are you angry? Because sometimes people don't even know that I'm behaving this way because that happened, maybe my boss at work was mean to me and I'm starting to feel this type of a way. As a result, you just find yourself being angry, being mean, children being scared of you. When you arrive home, people are running. As soon as they hear your car outside, your children, they go to sleep. They're not happy that daddy's home. They're not happy to see you because you became a monster in your own house, into your own family, to your loved ones. So it's very important for us to, keep in touch with ourselves, be honest as well, and also break away from the stereotypes. Talk to people, reach out for help, because we're seeing a lot of high cases with men taking their lives. We're seeing, and men successfully, we're not saying men are the ones that are always trying to take their lives, but in general, women attempt to take their lives far much more than men. However, men succeed in taking their lives because they use lethal weapons. Men will hang themselves, they will, shoot themselves. They also get into car accidents intentionally. So those are the things that end up with a lot of cases of successful suicides being males. Hence, it's important for us to be able to talk to each other. Reach out when you're not feeling well. Say, look, I'm going through a lot. For instance, with like your PTSD, because men generally take risk behaviors, they engage in risky behaviors, they go to drink alcohol. And the use of alcohol is also sometimes use of alcohol, drugs. It's also just another way of escaping reality. It's also another way of not dealing with the problem. It's a way to escape it, but at the same time, it's a very destructive way of doing it. And we all know alcohol is a social, when we go out with our friends, it's a social substance. Everybody, Friday, we drink from Friday till Sunday. In fact, some of us even drink when we come to work, and we hope nobody sees it. So those are some of the things that become quite destructive. And to be honest, and it's a very unfortunate thing, that men seem to be very dysfunctional in our societies compared to females. And I'm saying this because most of our psychiatric hospitals, they have a lot of wards for males than they do for females. The male psychiatric hospitals are filled with males. Homeless people are usually males, and also substances. Most drug users are also males. So that just also shows that a lot of males don't know how to cope with their challenges. They don't know how to function when they have difficulties. Society has not equipped you. I mean, maybe it hasn't equipped all of us, because being a human being is quite difficult, but also in general, men are really struggling a lot, and they're struggling in silence. And we really don't want that to continue happening. With the issues of PTSD, as I mentioned, there's always this thing of violence. You witness someone being killed, you are part of maybe a robbery or a violent act, and that ends up being something that you think of on a regular. And then you just have this intrusive thought, you have this intrusive memories, and sometimes you don't even know what it is, why such things are happening to you, but you know that you are unsettled, you know that you are not happy, you know that things are not going well for you, but you don't ask for help. So we urge you males that please do ask for help. Please speak to someone before you end your life, before you do something drastic, before you help the people that love you, the people that support you. It's such a sad thing when we watch males when we're older and there's no one next to you because you treated them badly. It's such a shame. So it would be nice for us to just try and reach out for help when we need to. And one other thing that I wanted to talk about is also, I think our pamphlets have mentioned, like your schizophrenia. A lot of people don't really understand what schizophrenia is and why it happens. Sometimes it's related to genetic loading, a lot of mental health conditions. are actually said to be related to genetic loading. So someone in the family, we might not know why they were like the way they were, especially because mental health is not really prioritized, even within the health system. It's not really known because, I mean, I don't have physical injuries, why would I be sick? Or so people don't really understand what it is. And some deny that you're actually sick because when they look at you, you're fine. And even with the suicides, they don't understand why you want to end your life because, I mean, you're not even sick, there's nothing wrong. So some of these things are what perpetuates the silence and people not talking about not being well, people not saying, I'm struggling, because you're always faced with rejection when you come and reach out to someone that I'm not well. Yeah? So it's very important for us to seek help with schizophrenia. What I wanted to talk about is we notice that someone is schizophrenic when they start to lose touch with reality. So someone who may be having schizophrenia may have delusions. So delusions are beliefs, fixed beliefs about something that maybe might be persecutory beliefs, that somebody wants to hurt me, somebody wants to bewitch me, that's the popular one. And then there's those grandiose ones. And often these types of people, they do end up in hospital, they do end up getting treatment, because when you have persecutory delusions, you're likely to become violent, angry, because you really fear for your life, and sometimes you have hallucinations, and you see these things and you believe somebody is really out to harm you, hence why you end up in hospital. And oftentimes when that happens, we usually encourage people to get the police involved so that they can help you bring the person to get health care in hospital. So in general, it's important for men to really speak up about what they're suffering from, and to really not take our people to traditional healers when they have mental illness, because that's what, in my experience, I've heard people say, you know, they took me to this sangoma, or they took me to go Borofita or go Kerekeng, and they stabbed me, and they used to chain me, they used to do this, and it's quite abusive towards a person who's mentally ill when we don't get them the appropriate care. So let's please practice caution in identifying ourselves when we are not well, in identifying others, our brothers, when they're not well, and being able to say that before, I think maybe you're not well, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing you're quite snappy, you're quite on edge, you are behaving recklessly, you know, self-destructive behaviors. I think sometimes I see cases of, especially someone who struggles with bipolar, they engage in a lot of sexual risky behaviors. They go on a spree of unprotected sexual practices with people and all of that. But because this person is unwell, they at that moment have an urge to go on that sexual spree and do these things. And then before they know it, they have other health conditions because of that. So it's important for us to just keep in touch with ourselves, be aware when we have changes, you know, emotionally talk to people about how we're doing so that we can get help. Even if you just talk to your woman, because I know men don't talk to each other, you know, you just laugh at each other, you go out and you drink, but when you need that emotional, that safe space. It's usually not with each other. So it's important in your brotherhoods to try and provide that kind of space for one another, so that when someone is suffering, they have a hand to reach out to. I think I've reached the end of my talk.